during O Rewards Member Appreciation Month. Easily remove dirt, dust, and grime with Armor All Canister Wipes. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
NBC News Radio. I'm Tom Roberts. Florida Governor Rick Scott is warning about the dangers of Hurricane Hermine.
We have a hurricane. It is going to happen. It is here. It is here now. It's going to happen in the next few hours. So let's think about what we're doing. We can rebuild a home. We can rebuild a business. We cannot rebuild your life.
Scott said the powerful storm is life-threatening and said people need to be prepared for the severe weather that's coming. Hermine is expected to make landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast overnight. Former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer says Donald Trump will find ways to get the money for his proposed wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Speaking with Fox News, Brewer, a longtime Trump supporter, suggested Trump's wall could be paid for by doing something about the money sent by immigrants to families in Mexico. Dallas Police Chief David Brown is retiring. His announcement today comes almost 2 months after 4 Dallas police officers and 1 DART officer were murdered at the end of a protest against police brutality. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Former President Bill Clinton reportedly used tax dollars to help bankroll the Clinton Foundation. A Politico investigation also shows the money was used to help pay for the private email server used by Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. Police in Colorado are still working to solve the murder of JonBenet Ramsey nearly 2 decades after the 6-year-old child beauty queen was found strangled in her parents' home. Boulder Police Chief Greg Testa said his department remains committed to finding justice for JonBenet.
This is an open investigation. Investigators from our Major Crimes Unit are assigned to this case. They receive and evaluate information on a regular basis.
In a video statement today, Testa said detectives have received, reviewed, or investigated over 20,000 leads or tips in the unsolved case. Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes are back in stores, signaling one of the first signs of fall. The coffee chain officially announced the drinks are back, while their fall menu doesn't debut until September 6th. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Tom Ladd. For this afternoon, it'll be sunny. Expect a high near 96. Light and variable wind out of the west at 5 to 10 in the afternoon, and gusts as high as 20 expected. It'll be clear tonight with a low of 65. A west wind at 10 to 15, and gusts as high as 25. Patchy fog before 11 a.m. Friday, otherwise sunny. High near 91 with a light and variable wind out of the west at 5 to 10. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect the unexpected.
Woohoo! It's time for open season with award-winning sportscaster Larry Burnett. Open season, where they tackle issues, drop gloves, and swing for the fences. Hey, let's quit wasting time and dive right in to open season.
Open season is on the air, in the air, and almost everywhere. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Sports Fan, and all ships at sea. This show is bulging with bravado. The burly Bill Goldberg checks in to talk WWE comeback rumors.
Never say never. I mean,
All right, so the door is open.
Yeah, the door's been open for a while, for sure.
NFL Network's Charlie Casserly is here to talk big-time football. And Boomer, Sims, and Cower of CBS Sports will break down the Rams who play at Mini tonight. We'll climb into college football with USC and UCLA. And you'll get the lowdown on the Dodgers from Sportsnet LA's Alana Rizzo.
When they win, it makes my job easier, it makes my job better, it makes my job more fun.
Oh my, what could possibly be more fun than this? TiVo taking BP, Lochte dancing with the stars, Kaepernick taking a stand by sitting down. It's open season, folks, with Larry Burnett and Eric Geller. Possibly the greatest duo in sports talk radio. Right, Phil Simms?
Do they look like a great team just on paper and watch them in preseason? No, they do not.
Simply one man's opinion. Hey, it's time for open season, where our motto remains, if it's news in sports, it's a news to us. And no matter what Phil Simms says, I'm Larry Burnett along with Eric Geller. This is Open Season. Welcome, everybody. Our phone number is 888-909-1050, 888-909-1050. We got a busy day. We got a busy show. We got lots to do, so let's start off. Rams at Minnesota tonight. You know that Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback for the Vikings, is out, tore up his ACL, blew out his knee. We'll talk about the Rams in just a little bit. Also tonight, San Francisco at the Chargers. Colin Kaepernick may start the game tonight. And this becomes very interesting because Colin Kaepernick has been the story of football in the last week or so since he decided to sit down during the national anthem in a protest of what he considers to be discrepancies and problems with the dealing of minorities in America. Interesting because tonight at Qualcomm Park, it's military night. And the Chargers are going to be honoring 240 military members before tonight's anthem that Kaepernick says, once again, he will be sitting down for. Eric Geller, your thoughts on what's going on with Mr. K?
You know, I get it, and he has every right to do what he's doing under, you know, our laws and things and our Constitution. But I think what he said is he's not directing it towards the military. So it'll be interesting to see how he salutes the military tonight, if he salutes them at all. I think it's just about, you know, the national anthem and the flag, and even it's just crazy. And what happens, this could be it for him in San Francisco, and he could be in a Vikings uniform soon. You never know, but we'll see what happens.
It's a possibility. Yeah, but listen, the guy's got every right in the world to make a protest like this. I mean, the fact that we live in a free country allows him to do that. And I was just saying on a radio show earlier this morning, it seems as though we are a country that believes in freedom as long as somebody doesn't disagree with what our definition of freedom is. And I think also that different people see the flag as a different symbol. Right. Some see it as the military. Some see it as the country. Some see it as religious freedom. We get to see it any way that we want. And Kaepernick is saying, I'm certainly not against the military. I've got family. I've got friends who have been in the military. But here's the problem that he's running into. He's drawing a lot of attention to himself. He doesn't seem to have a plan to make things better. And now he's being called out by the police and some other people because he's been wearing these socks that have a pig in a police helmet. Yeah. Now, you know,
that's crossing the line, I think.
I agree. And I think that takes away his credibility. Yeah. And listen, we saw Melo, we saw Chris Paul, we saw Dwayne Wade, we saw LeBron James at the ESPYs talking about how things need to change. I haven't heard one word from any of those guys since. Nope. At least Kaepernick is drawing attention to the situation. The question is, where does it go now? Now, we told you in the tease that we're going to be talking with Bill Goldberg in this program, and he'll talk about these comeback rumors in just a little bit. Bill lives down in the San Diego area, and of course Camp Pendleton's down there. It's a big military area of the country. So when I talked with Bill yesterday, I asked him about his thoughts on Kaepernick and his stand on the national anthem. Listen in.
He's disrespecting the military by not standing, but that's his choice. You know, he can do whatever he wants. It's fortunate that we live in a country where you know your opinions matter. I just think it's the wrong way to go about it. But you know, he can do what he wants. I truly believe that there is a problem. Everybody, you know, people know that there's a problem. It's just the way you go about trying to solve it. And that's the way he chose, and that's his God-given right, and it's my God-given right to get my opinion about it.
I'm with you on that. And he has created a national, maybe even an international dialogue about the problems.
Yeah, but Larry, wasn't that dialogue there beforehand? It was there beforehand.
Yeah, but what happened with it, Bill? Nothing was happening with it. I mean, I remember seeing Dwayne Wade and LeBron James at the ESPYs, and then I never heard another thing from any of them about the problem. What bothers me about Kaepernick is he's drawn attention to it, but it seems as though he's drawn more attention to the person
to himself
than the purpose.
Yeah. That's the problem. You know, you can't turn your back on one sector to try to help another. You truly can't. I don't believe it's obviously the right thing to have social and racial equality. And, you know, have we made strides throughout the years? You're damn right we have. Have we made enough strides? Hell no.
All right, that's Bill Goldberg, and by the way, he continues to go around telling people that he's my brother-in-law, and you know, if this makes him feel better, you know, more power to him. It's fine. But listen, he'll be back later to talk about all the WWE comeback rumors that are just swirling around right now, and it's a lot to do with his appearance on the WWE 2K17 video game, which comes out in October. And, of course, Bill played for the old L.A. Rams. We'll talk about a bunch of things. But before we switch gears here just a little bit, Eric, I'm wearing my Jackie Robinson shirt.
Right.
And let's get back to Kaepernick. Jackie Robinson, in his autobiography, I Never Had It Made, says, I cannot stand and sing the anthem. I cannot salute the flag. I know that I am a black man in a white world. And this is from a man who was in the military and certainly fought racial inequality as much as anybody over the years. Well, so you can kind of see a little bit where Kaepernick's coming from, but I don't know where it's going.
The difference between those two is Jackie Robinson, he could not eat in any restaurant he wanted to. Right. He could not stay in the same hotel rooms or the same hotels as some of his teammates at that time. Right. Whereas Kaepernick can go basically anywhere he wants. And so that's where it's gotten better, obviously. Look, it's obviously not perfect like what Bill Goldberg said. We've made some strides, but we're not nearly done with what we have to do so that everybody's equal. And the thing is this, I read this tweet from a soldier in the military that said, and he was an African-American soldier, and he said, I fight so that Colin Kaepernick has the freedom to say whatever, to not stand for the national anthem. He goes, I don't fight for police to commit police brutality against anybody. And that's perfect. That was the perfect tweet. That's it basically says, you know, you got to agree with Kaepernick, allowing him to voice his opinion, and sure. It's his freedom, and that's what people have been fighting for in this country forever. And listen, it's a lot better here than it is in a lot of places. I think it's a lot better here than anywhere in the world, obviously. But you know, we live here, and we can't worry about what's going on in the other parts of the world when it comes to Kaepernick. Lives here; he doesn't live anywhere else. But you know, you got to pick. You got to pick and choose your poison. I like the motivation. I don't like the method. You know, I like his motivation. I don't like his method. But I understand him, and I get it. And he has, although I disagree with him, he has every right to do what he's doing there, as long as he's not hurting anybody. He's not physically doing anything like what, you know, some of these bad police are doing. They're physically hurting people for no reason. He's not doing that.
Let's just move along here just a little bit, and let's keep in mind too. Yeah. It's one thing for LeBron and the guys to stand up at the ESPYs and say, let's change things. Mm-hmm. It's another thing when you're putting your career and your life in jeopardy. And
they don't know how to
change what it's come down to for Kaepernick. That's really what it's come down to.
They say let's change things, but it's like they're like politicians. Politicians say we have to do this, but how do you go about doing it? They don't give a way of doing it. So that's my problem with those guys at the ESPYs.
All right, I'll tell you what, we're gonna jump ahead and head to the break here in a little bit. When we come back, we'll check in with Boomer Esiason, Bill Cowher, Phil Simms talking about the Rams and the Vikings. A little bit later on, we've got Charlie Casserly from the NFL Network who will be joining us as well. We'll hear from Goldberg talking about the comeback rumors, and also from Sportsnet LA reporter Alana Rizzo. She'll join us to talk about the amazing first-place Dodgers.
The fact that you have so many different starting pitchers, so many different guys on the roster, so many different guys in the lineup, and so many guys on the DL, and you're still in first place, that says a lot about the job that Dave Roberts has done, the job that the coaching staff has done, and the depth that this organization has.
The most diversified radio station on the dial, KCAA. Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles for an envious glow, while smoothing and softening to achieve that ageless face. Excellent for all skin types and ages, Is Clinical's Fire and Ice Facial is a celebrity favorite and provides dramatic results with no downtime, peeling, or side effects. The Fire and Ice Facial is normally $215, but call 310-777-7511 now. Mention this ad and pay only $179. That's over $35 in savings just by mentioning this ad. Don't miss out on glowing and radiant skin from Is Clinical and Nina MD Beverly Hills. For more info, visit ninamd.com or call 310-777-7511. That's 310-777-7511.
This is Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler. Don't go away. There's lots more open season when we come back.
Have you ever gone to use a flashlight and the batteries were dead or the inside of the flashlight corroded, only having to throw it away? Or in a location where you had no way to charge your cell phone or camera? Well, all that has changed. Now there's Hybrid Light. The Hybrid Light brings the best of both worlds together with a strong 160 lumen LED light that lasts 12 hours on a single charge, and after a recharge from any light or power source, you're ready to go again. Hybrid Light lasts 7 long years and is even waterproof, and also contains a USB port to plug in your cell phone or camera to give you that special charge when you're not near an outlet. All this for the low price of $39.95 with promo code GARY. Call 1-800-297-8109 to be the first to have this great tool, or go to our website, hybridlight.com. That's 800-297-8109 or hybridlight.com, hybridlight.com, and don't forget to use promo code GARY.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.
All right, we're back on Open Season. Larry Burnett and Eric Giller. We have a jam-packed show today, and of course the Rams in action tonight at Minnesota. Great new stadium up there too. The Rams with a short week after their loss at Denver. They made their cuts on Tuesday, getting back into action. Now on a conference call earlier this week, Boomer Esiason, Bill Cowher, Phil Simms of CBS Sports talked about the Rams' prospects this season, and we started off with Boomer.
I would say close to 500. And the reason I say that is because of the quarterback situation and the uncertainty of it. You know, I know Jared Goff is struggling to kind of grab hold of what's going on in the NFL and the speed of it and everything that's happening, and I can understand that because that happened to me too my first year. But, you know, it's a team that not only had to pick up and move and find a new home, I still think while it'd be a very good defensive team, they got a great running back and terrific wide receivers, the quarterback situation most likely will hold them back to a mediocre record this year. That's my sense.
I mean, I think the division they're in is tough. Again, I think when you look at it, Case Keenum does give him a space and stabilization. I think that's a position that doesn't, you don't have to throw Jared Goff into it because they do have a good running back. Todd Gurley, they have a very good defense led by Aaron Donald. This team, they know that division, and they give everyone in that division a battle. So I'll tell you what, it's going to be a team that you cannot take lightly, and I think you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves week in and week out.
You know, my take on the LA Rams is this. You know, everybody talks about their defense, and it's great, but the numbers don't back it up. You know, they give up too many plays, big plays, and, you know, if they're going to have success, the defense has to be more stable and just settle the game down more. And, of course, it's hard to judge them in the preseason because the running back is not playing. When they put him in there, that's going to change the defense they see, how they play, the pace of the game, and everything. So that's going to give their quarterback a chance. It definitely will be Case Keenum to start the season. He's been solid. He's been the best quarterback in their training camp. He's played well in the preseason games. And if it goes fairly well, then there's no need to push this quarterback thing along. You know, let it mature. and do it when the time is right. Don't force Jared Goff in there until the team needs it, or you need to do it for him to get him ready for the following year.
All right, so there you have it from Boomer and from Cowher and from Sims, and we'll hear more from them later on in the program. Now, Eric, just to show you how quickly things can change in pro sports, that conference call was Tuesday, like around noontime. And just before the news broke about Teddy Bridgewater's ACL injury, Cowher and Sims both picked the Vikings as a team to watch in 2017. Listen.
Did a year ago, Teddy Bridgewater with one more year of experience. I like Mike Zimmer. I think is a very good football coach, and I think I look at their division. They're going to have to battle Green Bay, but they did that very well a year ago, and I think they're young on defense and fast on defense, and I think they're going to be a formidable opponent.
Well, I'll just say this. I'm going to go with Bill Cowher. I look at the Minnesota Vikings. I thought they were a really good football team last year that kind of came together towards the end. We saw they lost a miracle loss to the Seattle Seahawks in a playoff game, but I think their defense is absolutely loaded. It's got depth. They're fast. They can cover. They got the corners that can, withstand the 4 wide receivers in the NFL. They got pass rushers, and they're resourceful enough on offense. They're not going to be great, but they don't have to be. We saw last year's Super Bowl winner that wasn't great on offense.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Vikings, and we'll see what happens tonight. Sean Hill is their backup, and the question is, do you even take a chance and play him tonight and put him in harm's way and have no quarterbacks left? So I don't know what they're going to do, but it was just like a few seconds later, a guy came on the conference call and he said, "Hey, I just got word that Teddy Bridgewater hurt his knee." Man, things change fast, don't they?
They do, and the Rams don't look too bad at quarterback now when you consider what happened to Teddy Bridgewater. And they're both very similar teams, great running backs. They've got offensive lines that can open some holes for their running backs, and they've got really great defenses. So now they're completely similar because there's question marks at the quarterback position for both teams. But the thing is this. You've got the Rams with Keenum, he's steady, and then you've got Sean Mannion, who's played very well during the preseason,
yep.
And Goff is learning, and he's not afraid of anything. He's taking hits, and he's going to get it too. So it says a lot about having more than one good quarterback or one quarterback that can get the team going right away on your roster. And now the Vikings are in a lot of trouble, and like I said earlier, there's always that possibility they're going to make a play for a guy like Colin Kaepernick, whose time in San Francisco could be done. So, but it'll be interesting to see. Sean Hill, he played for the Rams. He's played for a number of teams, and he's serviceable, but he's not the answer. And, I would think about, keeping him out. If you feel snake bitten at this point, but then you've got nothing at quarterback. So maybe look at Christian Ponder back from Oakland. We'll see what happens.
You never know. Let's switch gears and get over to baseball now. The Dodgers with a 1.5 lead over San Francisco. They split a couple in Colorado yesterday. They were in big trouble, and then Andrew Toles hits this grand slam in the 9th inning. And now the weekend series for the Dodgers with the Padres. They'll throw Urias on Friday, Maeda on Saturday, and Bud Norris on Sunday. Let's talk about Alana Rizzo.
Rizzo.
Yeah,
do you get that a lot?
Rizzo.
Is it the grease thing? Does that bother you? What do you think?
It doesn't bother me. It's awesome. It's one of the greatest things my dad ever gave me was my last name. And yes, I get asked often if I am related to the Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo. I am not. However, my actual brother's name is Anthony, and the Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs and I have the same birthday, albeit he's many, many years younger and many, many, many dollar signs richer than I am.
Listen, still a lot of people don't see you in L.A., obviously, because they don't get Time Warner Cable. Is that kind of a bone of contention with you? Would you rather get more exposure that way, or the lack of exposure?
I couldn't care less about my exposure. It's a bummer that people can't see Vin in his final year. It's also a bummer that people can't see the fact that this team is playing as well as they are. They have an opportunity to win the division for the 4th straight year. So for the last 2 years, people haven't been able to see the pennant race and the pennant chase and that type of thing. I don't care about the exposure. It bums me out that people cannot see what a great job job we're doing as far as Sportsnet LA is concerned. I work with tremendous talented people: Oral Hershiser, Nomar Garcia-Parra, John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Ned Coletti, Tony Gwynn Jr., to name a few, not to mention all of the bazillions of people behind the scenes that go into putting together such a great product. So that bums me out, but it really bums me out that people can't see Vin and people can't see how good this team is playing.
Let me ask you about that. I was going to ask you what surprises you most about the team, and can you name all the guys that have been put on the DL this year?
Not even close. There's 27 different DL stints. That's what surprises me the most, Eric, is the fact that there's been 27 guys on the DL, and this team still has a lead in the division. More importantly, there's been 27 guys on the DL, including Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw last pitched on June 26th. He went on the DL on June 27th, and somehow this team has managed to find a way, offensively particularly, to be in first place. The bullpen's been the strength of this team since May 21st. The offense has really come about at the end of June when Clayton went on the shelf. And the fact that you have so many different starting pitchers, so many different guys on the roster, so many different guys in the lineup, and so many guys on the DL, and you're still in first place, that says a lot about the job that Dave Roberts has done, the job that the coaching staff has done, and the depth that this organization has.
Can they keep it going?
Of course. I don't see why not. You tell me one team in the National League that, can knock them out. I don't see why they can't keep it going. I worry about the bullpen arms as far as being overused, for sure. Joe Blanton has had more innings pitched than only four, with the exception of 4 starters. Kershaw, Kazmir, Stripling, and Maeda have more innings than Joe Blanton. Apart from that, he's third in all of baseball as far as appearances are concerned. So the bullpen arm and overuse worries me. But if you get Clayton Kershaw back healthy, perhaps you get Andre Ethier back healthy, and once September call-ups happen and you can have a bunch of different people come up, I like this team's chances.
Alana Rizzo joining me from Sportsnet LA, Dodgers reporter, pregame, postgame host. Let's talk about you. Where did you start? We talked before, and you said you one-man banded. What's like the greatest first job that you had?
Oh my goodness, I started in Wichita Falls, Texas, in market 142. There's 200 television markets. I started in 142, and I was a one-man band for a long time. I was there doing everything. I was a weekday sports reporter, weekend sports anchor. I shot all my own stuff, cut all my own stuff, obviously wrote everything, produced everything. And then from there, I went to Madison, Wisconsin, which was market number 82, and I worked at CBS in Madison for 3 years, covering the University of Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks, a bunch of high school stuff, log rolling, the rodeo, you name it, I covered it. From there, I had the opportunity to go home. I'm from Colorado, so I went back to Denver, which is all I ever wanted, and I covered the Rockies for 5 seasons, along with local colleges and high schools there in Denver, and then I got a call from MLB Network, and I went to New York and worked at MLB Network for 2 years, 2012 and 13, and then I was covering the Dodgers actually in the postseason in 13. When they were eliminated, I was approached by Lon Rosen, the VP of Marketing and Broadcasting for the Dodgers, and he said, hey, we're starting a new network. Would you be interested in coming and being with us? And I really thought about it because I wasn't sure I wanted to live in LA, and I'm glad I didn't listen to myself because I love living here. I love being in Los Angeles. I wanted to be back with the team. I was very far removed when I was in the studio at MLB Network, and I missed being at the ballpark, and this is my 3rd season.
Wow, look at that. And, if we watch you on Sportsnet LA, you do the post game, and a lot of times you get showered, and you wear lovely clothing, of course. You get showered with a lot of things sometimes if there's like a game-winning home run or a pitcher does something. Can you talk about some of your experiences? What's the worst one?
Well, I can tell you that this year they've been pretty good. I don't mind it if it matters. I don't mind it if it's a huge, walk-off home run, or if it's a pennant clincher or postseason something. A random Tuesday in April, that's annoying. But they haven't done it that much this year. And the worst one, I think, a couple of years ago when Matt Kemp was still here, Jerry Hairston Jr. put it up to Matt as a joke on me to kind of hold me, and it ended up being that I got doused and then I fell. And Matt was trying to hold me up, so I would get doused, and I ended up falling, and it kind of unraveled from there. He didn't do it intentionally; it was very much a joke. And honestly, like, the celebrations in the clubhouse don't bother me because the clubhouse is their space. I am a guest in their house. I am a guest in their space, and if they're celebrating, that means they won something. And when they win, it makes my job easier. It makes my job better. It makes my job more fun. Do I like to get doused? I'd rather be doused with water than Gatorade because water is easier to take out of clothing and it's less expensive. But again, I'm a guest in their house, and if they're celebrating, it means they're winning.
Okay, now you pick your wardrobe, obviously. Do you think about that before you go to every game?
I think about it closer to the postseason. For the postseason, if there's an opportunity to clinch, I will be wearing jeans and really old tennis shoes, not nicer dresses.
Who pays for the dry cleaning?
I do.
Still, it's all right. It's a write-off, I guess, at this point.
It's a write-off. I still pay for it. I mean, they've offered that incident I was just telling you about with Matt. He offered to pay for it, but whatever. Again, it's not a big deal. It's part of the job.
It's a great experience, too, I guess. I mean, no one ever really gets to
It's not even the experience. It's part of the job. And if they're dousing you, it means you're part of the team and you're part of the club. And these guys, I'm with them more than I'm with my own family. And they're kind of like your brothers, and I'm completely fine with it.
I was going to ask you about that. You're in the clubhouse before and after the game. Do they treat you like a little sister? Or?
I think they treat me with respect, which is what I expect and what I appreciate. I've worked really hard to get where I'm at. I think I know the game. I know I ask intelligent questions, and I respect their space, and I expect them to respect mine. I expect them to respect my job as I do with theirs. And I would never put them in a bad position, but I still ask them the questions I think the fans want to know. And I've not been treated with anything but respect and professionalism from this organization. It's been a fun run.
Well, that's because you are truly a professional. Thank you for joining us, Alana.
Thank you very much.
And that is Alana Rizzo, the reporter for Sportsnet LA, out at the Dodgers. Coming up on Open Season, lots of football with NFL Network analyst Charlie Casserly, plus the NFL on CBS crew back again, Sims, Esiason, and Cower, telling us who to watch in the NFL. And if you want to know who's next, it's Bill Goldberg, talking about all the rampant rumors that say he is heading back to wrestle in the WWE. Now, Bill's 49 years old now, but he says he can still get the job done.
I still train Muay Thai, 3 to 5 days a week. And, I try to stay in top physical condition. Am I 285 pounds and my traps coming right out of my ears? Absolutely not. But I'm a healthy 270.
San Bernardino, Loma Linda, Rialto listens to KCAA Radio.
If you're trying to prevent a home foreclosure, you need the Goodman Law Firm on your side. Goodman has a nationwide network of foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has resolved troubled mortgages across the nation. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Call the Goodman Law Firm, 888-800-6030, or contact them online at www.arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Thank you, Inland Empire, for listening to KCAA Radio.
We are rocking and rolling back here on Open Season. Larry Burnett and Eric Geller still to come. Charlie Casserly. Boy, hard to believe it's September 1st. And hard to believe college football is already underway. And, man, we have a weekend of football. USC takes on Alabama in Texas on Saturday. UCLA is at Texas A&M on Saturday. Some really good games. What are you thinking about the Bruins and the Trojans in their openers, Eric?
They're bowl games in September for them. I mean, if they can pull off an upset or stay close, well, UCLA I think it might be favored, but it's certainly a bowl game for USC. And with Max Brown at quarterback, he's an experienced guy. He's been around. I think he's a redshirt junior. Is that what he is at this point? And I think they have. Look, it's Alabama, so I think Alabama's going to win. My heart says USC will, but I think Alabama's going to win, but I think it'll stay close, and I think UCLA is going to beat Texas A&M. But this is going to be important for both teams. It's a bowl. Like I said, it's a bowl game. The playoffs start now. It's a bowl game for them in September.
We'll see how Josh Rosen has improved after his freshman season. And you got number 2 Clemson at Auburn, number 3 Oklahoma State at number 15 Houston, number 18 Georgia at number 22 North Carolina. And I bring that up because Bill Goldberg played his college football at the University of Georgia. And then, of course, he moved to the NFL where he's with the Rams and the Falcons for a while before he started his pro wrestling career. Well, Goldberg was the WCW and then the WWE champ before he left the business. And he had a really bad relationship with Vince McMahon at the WWE, but somehow things have softened recently, and Goldberg is on the cover of the WWE 2K17 video game, which comes out next month. Brock Lesnar's on there as well. And interestingly enough, Goldberg's last bout was in 2004 against Brock Lesnar. So people are kind of putting the dots together, and it's prompted a lot of rumors that Goldberg might be returning to the ring. So I talked with Bill earlier about his plans and those rumors. Recent headlines. Wheels are in motion for Goldberg WWE return. Goldberg returned to WWE looking good. Goldberg returning. Will Goldberg return to WWE? You're telling me unequivocally now, Bill, that you've had no conversations with Vince McMahon, or you or your agents, any conversations with McMahon or WWE about you returning to wrestle?
Yeah, I haven't had any conversations with him. But like I said, this relationship that I have with him now is much better than the relationship I've had with him in the past 12 years.
Okay.
So it may lead people to believe that the relationship's getting better, and the natural progression for the special downloadable character traditionally for WWE, 2K, has been a legend that comes back, takes part in the video game, and then gets back in the ring, does his final foray, and then rides off into the sunset. So people are just assuming that the past is going to repeat itself. And like I said, I'm greatly appreciative and honored that anybody would, number one, still remember me, number two, care, and number three, think that I could still compete at a level to where it could still entertain people.
Talking with Bill Goldberg here on Open Season. So you can see where people can connect the dots and assume that there is a warming of the relationship between you and Vince McMahon and the WWE. Obviously, McMahon or the organization had to sign off on you being on the 2K17 video game, right?
Yeah, so that in itself is a monumental accomplishment, so it's its own animal. Every morning I wake up and I see a new headline that I'm in talks. And, let the people believe what they want to believe.
So there you have it. It's a warmer relationship. They're doing some things together. Goldberg's out promoting the video game. And the door, as Bill says, is open. And we'll have much more with Goldberg next week on Open Season. We'll talk with him about his movies, about his life after not only football, but also wrestling. We'll talk with him about The Rock. The Rock, now the highest paid actor in all of movie making. Kevin Green, of course, who went into the Hall of Fame over the summer, a former teammate of Billy's. And we'll see how Goldberg feels about working with Donald Trump on The Apprentice a few years ago. So it's going to get pretty interesting. Let's get back to football tonight. Seattle at the Raiders. That's a game on the NFL Network. Houston at Dallas. You got Tony Romo out, Dak Prescott in. If you're the Cowboys, do you play Prescott, or you try to make sure that he's going to be healthy for your opener?
I wouldn't play him tonight. I think they just signed someone today. I forget who it is, but yeah, you got to be scared with everything that's going on. And listen, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in non-contact drills.
That's right.
So, it's the turf thing. Maybe he got his foot stuck in. I don't know. I can't. But anything can happen. But yeah, you're going to be a little gun shy tonight in the fourth preseason game, I think. No matter who you are.
The Rams are trying to bring Jared Goff along slowly, and you wonder.
He's starting.
Yeah, but they bring him along slowly for the regular season, is what I'm saying.
Right. Oh yeah.
They haven't pushed him. They haven't said you're the starter from day one in preseason. So you wonder if teams are taking risks if they do start rookie quarterbacks when it gets to be game one of the regular season. Bill Cowher of the NFL on CBS shared his thoughts on the issue.
I think when you look at the quarterback position, particularly with some of these new head coaches, we saw last year 2 coaches that started rookie quarterbacks. You think there's growing pains to go with that, but both those coaches got fired. So I think when you're looking at it right now, there's a lot of pressure to win. I think if you can start the season with an experienced quarterback and ease your rookie into it, it's the ideal way of going. But they may not start the season. I would not be surprised to see either one of them being there before the season's over.
Putting Jared Goff in that mix there as well, and it's exactly what the Rams are doing. They're bringing him along slowly. If Keenum takes off and things are going well, you don't have to rush Goff in. But if things aren't going too well, then maybe you give the rookie a shot.
Well, listen, they're going to rely on their offensive line, and they're going to rely on Todd Gurley. That's the Rams' bread and butter this season. Where you think about guys like Peyton Manning that started their first year, and he really had nothing going on. It was just him and Troy Aikman too. I think Herschel Walker might have been at the end of his career at that point, and they were about to make the trade or whatever. But they had nothing. They had nothing on the bench. It was that, and then you have Andrew Luck also, who started for the Colts. But again, the Rams are not in a situation where they have to throw him in the fire. So because again, they're going to rely on Todd Gurley, and that's their bread and butter this season.
And I'll tell you what, any team that thinks they can go into the season with 2 quarterbacks, I think they're a little wacky. I mean, you better have 3 quarterbacks ready to go. The way these guys are going down like flies. Now, interesting. Phil Simms of CBS says that Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill is somebody who should be in for a solid year. Listen in.
I expect Ryan Tannehill to have a really good year. He's looked terrific at times in the preseason. The diversity of plays, there's a little bit of everything. But I'll be surprised if he doesn't put up good numbers and have a good year and give the Dolphins something to look at, knowing he is going to be a so-called franchise quarterback, and now can he get some of the other parts around him to make this team win more than 6 games.
I'll tell you what, the Dolphins have been down for such a long time. It's hard to even picture them coming back, but they've got the new coach, and this should be a breakout year for Tannehill. I think it's a make or break year for him.
Yeah, and I think they just acquired Arian Foster, didn't they, from the Texans?
They did.
They picked him up. So I know that they have a pretty good offensive line there, but hey, no one really talks about them, obviously. But Tannehill was a good quarterback in college, and he showed some. Listen, he can throw the ball. So if he's got receivers that can catch and it gets a little time, who knows? But he's a typical, he's a prototypical quarterback.
Well, that's the thing. They've got to give him time, and their defense has got to help him get the ball. And Sue's got to have a great year. Here's one for you. If you're looking for a surprise team to keep an eye on, Boomer Esiason says you should set your sights on Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think that Jameis Winston far exceeded anybody's expectations his rookie year. I think he's on the track to be this year's breakout star in the NFL. And I think he's got the people around him and the coaching staff around him to make that happen. And I also believe that they are in a division that they can, maybe get through it with 4 wins. And if that's the case, then the rest of it, if they can just somehow get to 10 or 9, there's a very good chance that they will be one of the surprise teams that makes the playoffs.
Another team with a new coach, and so we're getting to hear from all different precincts as we get closer to the regular season. It's going to be fun to watch. Also, Dancing with the Stars comes back in about a week or so, and it's got a real sports flair to it this year. They've got Olympic gymnast Laurie Hernandez, Calvin Johnson, the former NFL wide receiver with the Lions, James Hinchcliffe, IndyCar driver, and Ryan Lochte, the swimmer, all going to be on Dancing with the Stars. And if that's not enough for you, Eric, and darn well it should be, Vanilla Ice and Texas Governor Rick Perry on Dancing with the Stars this year.
I was going to say, Rick Perry might have a few words for Ryan Lochte. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. I'm not a big Dancing with the Stars fan, but now that I heard Vanilla Ice is on there, I might have to watch because, who doesn't like a little ice baby? Come on.
And who doesn't like Tim Tebow, who had his baseball workout for the MLB at USC on Tuesday? Apparently he didn't light the place up. Maybe somebody would give him a minor league offer, but, the guy just keeps putting himself out there, doesn't he?
Why doesn't he just go and play tight end or something in the end, like they want him to?
Buccaneers wanted him to play H-back.
Why not? Do it. Do it. It's an ego thing at this point. Forget about the quarterback. Play in the NFL. Who was it? Jones, the kid that went to Jacksonville. He was the quarterback at Arkansas, and then they made him a wide receiver and a tight end. And he's been in the league for a while now. Tebow's 29 years old. I didn't realize, time is moving on there. Just go. Just play tight end, H-back, and get yourself in the NFL and forget about the quarterback thing.
Well, I went to college with a guy by the name of Drew Pearson, who played quarterback in high school and at the University of Tulsa. and turned out to be one heck of a wide receiver
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. So there are other options along the way. All right, we're going to move on here straight ahead on Open Season. Lots more football talk with Charlie Casserly, the former NFL general manager, now an analyst on the NFL Network. You are tuned in to the one spot where sports is always in season.
Missed something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
9MD Beverly Hills provides skincare solutions for patients undergoing cancer treatments. Personalized treatment regimens are initiated to achieve optimum remission states in those dealing with cancer. The IS Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial at 9MD Beverly Hills safely offers hope and relief for those challenged with the side effects and repercussions of intense cancer treatments such as radiation and chemotherapy. Rejuvenate, replenish, and soothe your skin. Let our certified technicians at 9MD Beverly Hills safely and effectively heal your skin with our IS Clinical products that are pharmaceutical grade, botanically based, paraben free, and do not enter the bloodstream. Enjoy a day of pampering and revitalize your skin with 9MD Beverly Hills and our IS Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial for just $179. Each patient will receive a complimentary gift bag for take-home care. For more information, please call 310-777-7511 or visit us at www.9amd.com. That's www.nainamd.com.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Your voice, your opinions, heard round the world at www.kcaaradio.com. The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
Okay, we're back again on season. Larry Burnett along with Eric Geller, and if I must say so myself, we have one heck of a show so far, and it just keeps getting better and better. Charlie Casserly joining us now. He's an NFL Network analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Charlie Casserly. And by the way, Charlie is spelled Charley. Casserly is spelled Casserly. And you can see Charlie throughout the week on NFL Network's NFL Total Access at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Charlie, thanks for being with us on the program. I'm excited to have you on. And the reason I spelled your name is because every time I typed it on my computer today, your last name came up as Casserole.
Hey, those computer things, they can get us in trouble now, can't they?
I'm telling you, it's autocorrect. I keep putting in Casserly. It keeps coming up Casserole.
I know. I've tried to learn how to work through that. So, anyway. All right, how are you doing this afternoon?
We're doing great. We've had Goldberg on the show. We've had Phil Simms on the show. We've had Alana Rizzo on the show from the Dodgers, and we got you on the show. So we got nothing to complain about. Now, you're a former general manager and executive with Washington and with Texas, and you were with Washington for about 23 years. I have to ask you about the continuing controversy which raises its head and then goes away for a little bit about the name Redskins. How do you feel about it after being with the organization for such a long time?
You know, I didn't really get much involved in that. Ownership handled that, but with the Cook family and in talking to them, there were a number of high school teams, reservation teams that had the name Redskins, and so you really had a split decision, if you will. And I'm not going to get into what split decision means. The point is, there were schools on reservations that used the nickname Redskins. So, that was kind of our way to talk about the thing at that point in time, and we never meant any disrespect on it. Honestly, I was with the team, and during that period of time, no one could really give us the reason for the name other than it was originally the Boston Braves, and you had the baseball team, the Boston Braves. There was confusion on that, so they came up with the name Redskins back in the 30s. And so where that name came from, no one could tell us other than that. And you had the high school teams on the reservations called the Redskins. So obviously if this group of Indians themselves felt that it wasn't disrespectful, then, and we never meant any disrespect on it, so we kept the name.
Speaking of controversy, Colin Kaepernick, if you're the GM of the San Francisco 49ers, what are you doing with this guy right now?
Well, I cut him, but I cut him because he can't play. So he's guaranteed the money, and if he gets hurt, now you're on the hook for next year's money. So, I mean, you take your losses and move on. Let's start with him. Can he earn his football merits? I don't think anyone is going to talk about the message of, racial oppression / being fair to everybody. To me, I'm colorblind completely, and anybody around me knows that. What kind of a person are you? That's all that counts, really. So the message you can't argue with. I don't agree with what he did. I think that in honoring the flag, we're honoring the positive things with this country. One is free speech on it. So that's kind of how I would look at it. But when he was successful, people say he took him to the Super Bowl. No, he rode on the bus seat. Okay? He didn't take them to the Super Bowl. They had an outstanding offensive line, an outstanding defense, and a running game that people hadn't defensed at that point in time. He was still an inaccurate thrower many times and a late reader. And that's what he is. He is not an accurate thrower. He doesn't follow through on his reads. And like any running quarterback, he doesn't want to run as much anymore. So there's a lot of things around him have changed and forced the focus on him as a drop-back passer, and he's not that good, and he wasn't really that good back when they were winning.
Hey, Charlie, this is Eric Geller. I want to ask about, since we're talking about the quarterback position, Teddy Bridgewater and the importance of having, obviously, more than one capable quarterback in case your starter goes down. I think when you were the general manager, you had Mark Rippon in there. You had Doug Williams at other times with Joe Theismann. Can you talk about, is it the same now as it was back then, or is it more important now to have more than one quarterback because of the physicality of the game today?
I think the importance is the same. Joe Gibbs used to say most important player on the team is the quarterback. The second most important player on the team is the backup quarterback. I mean, we had Jim Hart as our backup one year at the end of his career. Obviously, we had Doug Williams, which Joe pushed very hard to get to be a backup quarterback, and we won a Super Bowl with him as the quarterback, and he obviously had a big part of that. So, number one, I don't think the importance has changed. I think what's changed is free agency. You could get a quarterback, and he couldn't leave you back then. Here, in fact, Doug Williams wanted to leave us and would have left us to sign with another team so he could be a starter. We never would have had him. There was a trade to send him to the Raiders, which at the end we changed our minds, and Joe wouldn't do it. And Doug was upset because he had told me he was going to trade him to him. And he said, I changed my mind. We're going to need you. That was the year we won the Super Bowl. So the problem is keeping a veteran backup quarterback and then paying him. When you're paying your starter $20 million, you can't pay the backup that much. Sean Hill in Minnesota is a better-than-average backup. The problem with Sean Hill is, at his age, how many games can he play and stay healthy? He's a smart guy. He's instinctive. He knows where to go with the ball. He's more of a dink and dunk guy, but he does have a touchdown field. He doesn't have the big cannon arm to get it in the tight spots. He's got to throw downfield with touch, but durability is a question there. But it's hard to have a quality backup because they're going to make a lot of money now, and you can't have it when you're paying your number one a lot of money. Seattle, look where they are. Yeah. They're hanging by a thread for backup quarterbacks.
Talking with Charlie Casserly. He's an analyst now for the NFL Network. Talk to me about your feelings on preseason games, how many there should be. And I bring this up because there are fans out there, Charlie, who are paying regular season prices for preseason games. And more, we're seeing teams sit out their stars so that they're not hurt in preseason and ready to go in the regular season. How do you fix that?
Well, let me get back to your initial question. I'm absolutely in favor of 4 preseason games or 3 and then an equivalent of a 4th game. Here's why. The quarterback position. How are you going to develop quarterbacks? Look at your Rams right there, okay? You got the rookie. Suppose you had 2 games. Well, the game 3 starts and that counts in the standings. So what do? Hey, how many snaps does Case Keenum need to be ready to play in that opener? That's the number one thing. All right. What do we got left for Goff? How are you going to develop your backup, your young quarterbacks without 4 preseason games? A perfect example, Tony Romo. Tony Romo wouldn't even play in the league. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the league if there wasn't 4 preseason games. Aaron Rodgers, at the end of Brett Favre's career, right or wrong, he was holding him hostage. I don't know if I'm going to play. I don't know if I'm not going to play. At the end, they said, hey, be here or you're gone. That's Brett Favre, Hall of Famer, gone. They were paying him $13 million. What happens? Aaron Rodgers, they got, I believe, for 3 years of 4 preseason games. This guy is playing. He's ready to play at that point in time. You have 6 preseason games, and the 3rd game is a regular season game. You're not going to be playing those quarterbacks as much. You need it for that reason alone, other than normal player development for all your players.
And what's your thought on the new kickoff rule? We've seen a lot of teams with the pooch kicks during preseason. You think that's going to continue on into the regular season with the touchbacks now coming out to the 25?
I've gotten mixed answers when I've asked that question. If I was with a team, I'd just hammer the thing right into the end zone every time. Eliminate the kickoff. Now, I'm getting told that, no, people are going to pooch it and people are going to let people return it and things like that. Honestly, I think we're going to have to wait to see. I've gotten too many answers on. I'd kick it and eliminate the kickoff.
What about this is Eric Geller?
Kick it out of the end zone.
This is Eric Geller again, Charlie. What about the extra point? There's a report that the Pittsburgh Steelers with Roethlisberger have decided that they might just go for 2-point conversions after touchdowns no matter what throughout the season. Are you in favor of that, or do you like where the new extra point is 25 yards back?
Well, I'll give you a little history. When I was on the competition committee, that's the rules committee, sometimes, and we've all been through this, hey, how about this idea? Okay, so we had one of those, how about this ideas? Oh, this was over 10 years ago. And we voted to eliminate the extra point, the 1 point conversion. We made it automatic. You get 7 points for a touchdown. If you want to go for 2, it's 6 plus 2. Okay? So during our break, someone called back to the league office, and I said, this is over 10 years ago now. And evidently when they came back, and they told us, take a revote on that. They're not ready for it, okay? So that's where I was over 10 years ago. Make it 7 points or 6 and 2, all right, and then make your decision. Now, I believe the percentage is 50-50. So what are we saying there? If we go for it every time, we probably end up in the same amount of points. Right. So that's where you have on the thing. It's an aggressive mentality. As a fan, hey, go do it. Probably with a team, we'd continue to kick because the percentage is pretty close to getting the conversion when we've moved it back, though it's not quite as high, so there is a little bit more of a risk in it. Where I think it's unfair is the weather teams. You know, it's one thing to be kicking in L.A.
Charlie, we're up against,
for the whole
Charlie,
year, but it's bad when you got the weather teams doing it. It's not fair.
We're up against the end of the show. I wish we had more time to talk. I would love to have you on again. He's Charlie Casserly with the NFL Network. You can catch him at Twitter at Charlie Casserly, and also see him throughout the week on NFL Network's NFL Total Access, 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Hey, thanks, Eric. Thanks, Brandon McCormick. Thanks, Goldberg, Charlie Casserly, Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason, Phil Cower, Alana Rizzo. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to Open Season. Be sure to join us next week. I'll be live at the Basketball Hall of Fame. We'll have an in-depth interview with pro wrestler Bill Goldberg that you will not want to miss. That's next Thursday, 3:05 p.m. Until then, get out and try to have some fun.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. the best station in the nation.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. Have auto sales finally peaked? After 6 straight years of growth, auto sales declined 3.5% in August.